Grace Lee Boggs was born June 27, 1915 in Providence, Rhode Island, above her father's restaurant. Her Chinese given name was Yu Ping, meaning Jade Peace. She once said, "My American name, Grace, was given to me by my father in honor of an American churchwoman who gave him lessons in English when he first came to this country, and it is what they called me at school." She was the daughter of Chin Lee and his second wife, Yin Lan. Chin Lee had left his first wife because she could not give him sons, so in 1911, Lee and his second wife immigrated to America. Grace had 5 siblings, named Catherine, Edward, Philip, Robert, and Harry. She spent most of her childhood living in Jackson Heights, Queens, New York.
Grace was the most intellectual of all her siblings, stating that she preferred to read rather than pay attention to boys and trends. She went to Newtown High School, located in Queens, New York, and later began studying at Barnard College at the age of 16 and graduated in 1935. Her father said it was important for his children to go to college, and Grace was the most likely to attend because of her intellectual nature. As she was studying, she learned to love philosophy and was keen on understanding the meaning of life. While studying, she became fascinated with Marxist ideas and even translated 3 of Karl Marx's essays. Boggs enjoyed Marx because of the idea of social transformation. Marxism shaped her views of social class and Trotskyism. She went on to earn her Ph.D. in philosophy from Bryn Mawr College in 1940.
After grad school, Grace struggled to find work because most employers refused to hire Orientals. After not being able to find a job, she moved to the Midwest and started working at the University of Chicago's Philosophy Library and stayed in free housing that didn't have the best living conditions. This inspired Grace to become an activist through seeing other people protest about their poor living conditions, which connected her to the Black community for the first time. Her activism started in the 1940s in Chicago with the movement for tenants' rights, then with the Workers' Party, part of the Socialist Workers' Party. In 1953, she moved to Detroit and married James Boggs, a Black auto worker, writer, and radical activist. Together they were activists and participated in movements. Grace focused on marginalized groups such as women and people of color and was in the process of reconstructing Detroit. Her activism was based not on political and economic upheavals, but on community organizing and resurgent moral values. In Detroit, she founded food cooperatives and community groups to support the elderly, organized unemployed workers, and fought utility shutoffs.
After her husband James Boggs' death in 1993, Grace struggled to find her identity and became even more active in Detroit's activist communities. She claims that after Detroit was no longer the motor capital of the world, globalization had taken over and Detroit was changing from an industrial city to a struggling one. She fought for Detroit's decision to make a major water shutoff for residents of the city. Some of the activism movements she took part of were Black Bottom Archive, an online platform for Black Detroiters to speak out, and also BAMN, which stands for By Any Means Necessary. It was a coalition to defend affirmative action, integration, and immigrant rights for the fight for equality in building a new civil rights movement. Lastly, she wrote her second-to-last book, Living for Change, in 1998, focusing in on her perspectives of philosophy and revolution.
Grace Lee Boggs passed away on the 5th of October in 2015 at the age of 100. In her last book, Ms. Boggs aligned herself with revolutionaries in the spirit of Thoreau, Gandhi, and Dr. King. "We are not subversives," she wrote. "We are struggling to change this country because we love it." Boggs leaves behind her outstanding legacy of political activism, and her teachings of philosophy, union organization, and life continue to inspire like-minded individuals today. Her ability to stay aware of changing norms was essential to establishing spaces for long-term political thinking. Grace was dedicated to revitalizing civil society through community programs and a commitment to self-transformation. She wanted to change cities from places that thrived on inequality to places that fostered and enabled the livelihoods of all people. In her later years, Grace continued to facilitate several conversations with many people to continue spreading her ideas and wisdom to the world. She truly represents what it means to live for change.